Well, let's get this one out of the way, shall we? She worked at the local abattoir, slaughtering animals. She became the first ever woman in Australia to receive a proper life sentence. Papers marked, never to be released. All couples fight, argue, bicker and bitch, but rarely, thank Christ, do they end up going down the path that Katherine Knight's did with her partner John Price. Murder and a baked dinner. You got to wish it never happened, but she was born on October 24th, 1955 in Tenterfield, northern New South Wales. I think she was the result of a fling between her mother and her father, who happened to be a good mate of Katherine's mother's husband. Confused? Yep. Let's just call it a sordid state of sexual pass the parcel, where there was no real prizes at the end. As you'd expect, she had a shit-ass childhood. Alcoholic, abusive father who sexually abused both Katherine and her mum, sometimes multiple times a day. So, it was a good start for her, huh? Her school days saw her become a real bully and loved hassling the smaller, younger kids. She never learned to read or write. She left school when she was 15, got a job with some clothing manufacturer. It was only a year or so later that she landed what she always saw as her quote-unquote dream job. Cutting out the internal organs of animals at the meatworks. And she loved her knives so much that she hung them up over her bed, just in case she ever needed them. Well, you know, we'll get to that. She met David Kellett. He was a raging alcoholic, just like her father. Always in fights. She was used to this shit, so when she became involved in one of his scuffles at the pub, he was pleasantly surprised and attracted to her. It wouldn't be long until he was just completely dominated by her and was being treated like shit. It was 1974 and, you know what, marriage was on the cards. Fucking hell, why would you do it? Even her own mother warned Kellett about her daughter's volatile temper. Even letting him know she's just had a screw loose somewhere. Yeah, no shit. On their wedding night, they consummated their marriage not once, not twice, but 3 times. Far out. Exhausted, David fell asleep next to his new bride. Wasn't long before she was keen on a 4th go around. And she was so angry that he was asleep that she thought, fuck it, and started to strangle him. He eventually woke up, fought her off. Good start to the marriage. But it actually lasted another decade. Wasn't good though, he was always cheating on her and she always knew. On one occasion when Katherine had found out about a particular affair, she decided it'd be a good idea to take their 2-month-old kid down and put him on the train tracks just before she knew a train was due. She was threatening people with an axe, all sorts of shit. Don't stress, that train, thank Christ, just never turned up. Good to see New South Wales public transport living up to its reputation. Thank God in that case. She ended up spending a few months in a psych hospital. She was anything but a model patient, but Kellett returned to her once she was out. Not for long though. He finally left for good. And then Katherine spiraled into a bout of deep depression.
Boo fucking who, Katherine? Boo.
She ended up shacking up with some other bloke named David Saunders. He was a local mine worker. Her rational and thoughtful personality quickly took over. She was jealous and pissed off when he actually kept a hold of his own flat. She was just a suspicious cow. That's just putting it lightly. At one point, she even slit the throat of his young puppy dog in front of him, just to show what she was capable of. Fuck me dead. That's just like, yeah, nah. Get this. They stayed together and had a fucking child together. He left soon after because, just another day. She tried to kill him with some scissors. For God's sake. Enter John Chillingworth. Yet another dickhead who got caught up in this woman's bullshit. 3 years, kid together, no big dramas. Seemed to be a fairly settled kind of relationship. But he left her when he found out that she was seeing some other bloke. Pricey. John Price was a miner, honest, hardworking, etc. All the things that she didn't deserve in a partner. He had a couple of kids of his own. They all even moved in together, all seemingly getting along swimmingly. She eventually suggested that they tie the knot, but he wasn't interested. He just didn't want to marry. She took it incredibly personally. And shit was about to get serious. She even framed him for stealing a first aid kit from his work, which led him to being fired. For God's sake, he kicked her out. Sure enough, he was back again soon. But this is when her violence escalated. February 2020, an argument ended with her attempting to stab him in the chest. He took out a restraining order, trying to keep his kids safe. He even let his mates know that if he ever went missing, it was because she'd done him in. Fair enough. On February 29th, 2000, Pricey came home from work and usual routine, checked in with the neighbours, went to bed at about 11. Katherine came home shortly after about 11. After that, Pricey had gone to bed. She made herself some dinner, watched telly. She showered and they went upstairs. She woke Pricey up. She wanted to have sex. They did. He went back to bed. Then Katherine took a butcher's knife from next to her bed, where she'd always kept him, and stabbed Pricey 37 times. According to evidence, he did wake up during the attack, but he just couldn't fight her off. It was too much. He was done in by his wounds and skinned him, hung his pelt from a meat hook in the living room. She decapitated him, cut up pieces of his body to cook in a dish with potato, pumpkin, beetroot, zucchini, cabbage, some squash and some gravy. She made up a dish for herself, though the half-discarded contents later found at the crime scene suggested that she just couldn't finish her meal. Poor thing. She laid down next to the headless, mutilated corpse of Pricey, took a large number of pills, passed out. Coward tried to fucking kill herself. Pricey's workmates heeded his warning the next morning. Called the police after he didn't show up for work. Police arrived to find Katherine Knight's gruesome beyond gruesome crime scene and immediately detained her. She was still alive, unfortunately, passed out from her attempted suicide. Once she woke up, bitch claimed to have no memory of the night before. Insane. In the kitchen, police found Pricey's head boiling in a pot of vegetables on the stove. On the table, they found 2 full plates, each labelled Pricey's kids' names, one each, you know. Fucking hell. She was quickly charged with his murder, you know, despite her protests. October of 2001, her trial commenced. Didn't get very far. For reasons that she'll only know, she changed her plea to guilty. Judge adjourned the case without listening to anyone's testimony. That's probably a good thing. And she was escorted to prison that day, and the judge marked her papers never to be released. To this day, she still maintains her innocence in some bizarre capacity, refuses to accept responsibility for her actions. She has appealed her sentence before, was denied almost immediately, and she's still serving her life sentence at Silverwater in Sydney. Now, the painting I'm doing here is of the town. It's just one of the valleys in Aberdeen, looking over. It's a really nice little town. The whole Hunter Valley area is pretty nice, to be honest. It's sort of my old stomping ground, not that part of the valley, but Newcastle, Hunter Valley, that area. So fairly familiar with how it looks. And this case basically rocked the area. And I used to know a couple of policemen who were very closely attached with the crime scene itself, and essentially quit their jobs just out of necessity, mental anguish of having to deal with that crime scene, and what they saw was just fucking horrific. So before you go giving police a hard time, think of the shit that they have to do. Think of that shit. And yeah, ain't enough money in the world for that. But anyway, glad that one's over with. Look, it's a fascinating story. If you want to delve right into the details, there are a couple of books and various little mini documentaries and podcasts and all kinds of things about it. But really, it's just horrible. Just do yourselves a favour and stay away from it. I hope you enjoyed this painting. The painting's was really fun. It's a nice aerial overhead scene, nice reflections, nice sunny day, and shows that even with the darkest incidents in their background, a lot of towns can be beautiful, a lot of paintings around every corner in these places. Thank you for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave comments, suggestions, anything like that in the in the comment section below, and I'll look forward to hearing from you there. But in the meantime, have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.